Hi, this is DOSBox Mom, and welcome to Let's Play Heroes Chronicles Masters of the Elements. This was basically the third of the Heroes Chronicles campaigns to be published late in 2000 by 3DO. So at this point, if someone had purchased, say, like Conquest of the Underworld and Warlords of the Wasteland, you'd be able to get their first DLC campaign, the World Tree, which we'll be covering later. If you had at least 3 campaigns like this and the earlier 2, then you could also download the Fiery Moon, which we'll also be covering later. But anyway, getting back to this, you might recall the Barbarians had been oppressed by the wizards of Braccadoon. Tarnum hates magic, hates wizards. So now he's supposed to be a wizard. You'll be able to see more about that in the intro movie, which you can see elsewhere on YouTube. So we're going to, here's our new game, load game, high score, credits, quit. Same as usual. New game. Yeah, this is a tutorial where if you haven't played Heroes Chronicles before, or especially haven't even played Heroes 3 before, it'll walk you through how to do it. If you've never played with a wizard hero, that might be useful. Previews, it's like 2 weeks of game time of the other 3 of the original first 4 campaigns. But we're just going to start. And here's the description. Tarnum must face down his own prejudice against magic and become a wizard if he has any chance of saving the world from the destructive elemental lords. Yeah, the intro movie explains how the elemental lords had been imprisoned for 10,000 years and now they've gotten loose and the world is doomed. Unless Tarnum can find a way to stop them. So, the first scenario is the trouble with magic. Tarnum must defeat the Conflux town to gain the knowledge he needs to confront the elemental lords. If Tarnum loses any battle, his cause is lost. Tarnum will be limited to level 8, but he and 2 of his best captains will carry over to the next scenario. Now, I have played through this campaign before, but it's been a while, so if I flub, that'll be why. So we can either start with +1 spell power, or we can take 10 obsidian gargoyles. Now, you'll recall that Tarnum hates mages. Yeah, he's not even going to have a mage guild in this scenario, so although the extra spell power will be nice ultimately, for now he just needs more troops, so we're going to go with gargoyles. Yes, and we've reduced the difficulty down because, well, DOSBox Mom's a wuss.
The ancestors swept Tarnum away to a distant tower, where sorcery was part of everyday life. He now wore the robes of a wizard, and was expected to lead these creatures of magic against the elemental lords.
Yeah. So that was the cutscene introducing this scenario. I was fishing on a still lake when the ancestors appeared before me, their ghostly forms hovering just above the water. Tarnum, they said in unison, this is the most important task we've ever set before you. As they magically transported me to a distant tower, they explained that when the world was created, the gods forced the elemental lords into a 10,000-year truce. 10,000 years have passed, and the violent, selfish elemental lords plan to separate all the elements, thus destroying the entire world. No wonder the ancestors seemed so urgent. The elemental lords were coming to our world to destroy it, but what if I didn't wait for them? What if I took the battle to them? To the elemental planes where they reside? They certainly wouldn't expect such an assault. Unfortunately, the only way to reach the elemental planes is through a complex town, and only one remains in the entire world. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think the last time I played through this campaign was... I was inspired by Great Emerald 1's Let's Play of the campaign. I hadn't been into it for a while. Okay, so we cannot build our money generation any higher. We've got a fort already built. Might be a good idea to build a tavern though, so we can hire additional heroes. And the blacksmith marketplace cannot build a magic guild, which is going to be a problem. Yep. Okay, we do have Magi available. And that's going to be pretty important, as you will see shortly. Okay, so we have Neela the Alchemist, who already has a spell book, and Theodorus the Wizard. Yeah, I think both Alchemist and Wizard start with spell books, which is unlike the situation in the earlier campaigns where there was one hero type that was more might-oriented and one that was more magic-oriented. Here both types are pretty much magic-oriented. So Neela will give her troops to Tarnum. She can give most of her gremlins to him. Now look what Tarnum can do. See this? His special ability. He can upgrade monks, zealots, magi, or archmagi to enchanters. Just like that. It does cost money though, but it's a pretty cool ability, I think. Now we'll just move Neela out of the way. Don't want to move her too far though, because there are ambushes around here. Okay, of course. Alright, Theodorus is our the one that we can hire this turn. And we'll have him give most of his troops to Tarnum. Come on. There we go. Oh. Okay. Oh, those are obsidian gargoyles, so those are just stone gargoyles. Okay. And then... there's Rissa. Okay, let's... An insane archmage runs out of the tree line and screaming, "It's mine! Mine! You can't have my treasure!" You have no idea what he's talking about, nor do you think you'll be able to avoid a fight. But it's just the one archmage. So, especially since we've got Tarnum here. Yeah, I think we'll just do this on auto combat. Fortunately, the enchanters can cast spells, even though Tarnum doesn't want to. Okay, the rest of this should be safe enough for the other heroes to take care of. So we will have... probably have Tarnum head down this way. You sit down among the gremlin miners and tell them of your fight against the elemental lords and of your need for troops. Their leader nods and says, "The evil elemental lords have no place in this world anymore. And if they really intend on destroying it just to spite everyone, well, we're not going to let them. Will you accept our help?" Sure. Okay. Rissa, would you please give your extra gremlins to Tarnum? Oop. You can keep a couple. Okay, and perhaps while you're there, Rissa, you can get that mine flagged for us. And, or maybe we can have Theodorus grab that stuff. Now that we've gotten the Mad Mage out of the way. I suppose we could have Neela ferry gremlins down to Rissa. Of course, everybody's level 1 at this point, but we're keeping the army grouped with Tarnum for now. Well, the King of Bracada, Gavin Magnus, has given me the use of his troops to battle the Elemental Lords. How the ancestors arranged this, I don't know. As helpful as King Magnus seems, he had also sent out along a representative named Barsalar to make sure someone protects the interests of the kingdom. From the first moment we met, Barsalar has been trying to tell me what to do. He's more annoying than any person I've met, and a wizard as well. 2 reasons for me to hate him. Personally, I think the twit needs to be pushed off the nearest cliff. Unfortunately, I'd only end up with more problems if the 3rd cousin of the king disappeared. More problems. Okay. I think this turn, perhaps the blacksmith, so we can buy ammo carts. And I think we'll start with Neela. Ah, Neela must have Scholar. Yep, she does. And there we go. And Theodorus can slip in there and buy an ammo cart himself. I suppose we can give that to Neela. Neela, I think you should meet Tarnum. I'm sure he could. Although, actually, he probably doesn't have a spell book yet. So, forget what I just said. Yeah, he doesn't. A chill wind cuts through your clothing. Then you see the air itself take shape. Air elementals? Not only are they prepared to attack, but the icy wind kicked up by their presence is starting to give you frostbite. One of them approaches and shouts, "By the Air Lord's command, you shall not possess this gem pond!" And they attack. 20 of them. At least these initial battles, I think the AI stacks are weak enough that it's no big deal to take care of them via auto combat. And we'll let somebody else. Ooh. You come across something half buried in the snow. It's a large pendant pulsating with magic. At first you repulse, but you decide it might be worth something, magic or not. But as you bend to pick it up, the snow moves and an ice elemental rises from the ground. Soon you realize the entire ground of this area conceals nothing but a pack of these creatures. Do you wish to fight the ice elementals and take the pendant? Sure. I mean, if all else fails, we can always recover from the autosave. Yep, almost done. There we go. Ooh. Well, I mean, eventually we'll need expert wisdom. And we get the pendant of second sight. We'll let somebody else flag that gremlin dwelling. Okay. We'll have Rissa flag the gem mine for us. And perhaps she can pick up those gremlins. Sitting at the table in my tent, I shake my head and chuckle as an assistant tries to explain the elemental planes to me. Please, listen, sir, the mage says. We have evidence to support this information. First-hand accounts of these alternate planes. But an entire world made of only of fire? That's not possible, I say. Sir, in the elemental planes, the rules of our world don't apply. In the elemental planes, you can walk on clouds. Entire landscapes can be made only of fire. That's why no one has dared take an army into these lands. Well, possible or not, I'll be the first, I say boldly. I may have to use magic, but I can still fight like a true barbarian. There's no reason to sit around and wait for these elemental lords to come to me. I'll take the battle to them and end it before they get a chance to harm this world. At least that's the plan. Okay, now... Yeah, so... maybe the marketplace. And now we'll have Tarnum talk to these master gremlins. The elemental lord of air enslaved this group of gremlins long ago. They cheer as you walk among them, cutting the ball and chains attached to their ankles. As one, the gremlins throw down their saws and pick up their former shackles. As exciting as working at the sawmill was, one of them says. I think we'd rather be fighting the elemental lords. Would you mind if we came along too? Sure. Okay, we'll let somebody else flag that. And meantime... we'll send our other heroes up this way. Yeah. Okay. Now, Theodorus, could you please shuffle gremlins between Mila and Rissa again? Okay, and then we'll send Tarnum towards the stack of air elementals over here. Oh, for once there's no text messages. Okay, so I think this time... Oh gosh. I think we'll build the workshop. And hire some gremlins. And we'll have Rissa go pick them up, since she seems to be collecting a lot of gremlins right now. Okay, save before we head into battle there. Lord Tarnum, Bartholomew, my assistant, addressed me. I would suggest we get rid of those pesky air elementals and take that gold mine. You do know how expensive those enchanters are, don't you? I have to sit on my hand to keep them from punching the little man's nose in. The Air Lord knew you'd come for this gold, mortal. Our superiority is obvious, so surrender now or die! Okay, it's another 20 air elementals. This time they're split into 2 stacks. Okay. If we start getting into battles that the auto combat can't handle by itself, then we'll switch over to doing the manual battles. Or we're getting to battles where the AI can win, but they're really dumb about how they do it. Yeah, then we'll do manual combat then also. Okay. Okay. One of the natives of this region approaches your army. You can barely see his face from behind the bundles of clothing he wears to fight off the chill. Sir, I hear you're the one who plans to battle the elemental lords. Seems to me you're crazy to take on such a task. But then, who am I to question you? Anyway, I wanted to warn you, this valley is often visited by air elementals, so you never see them till they attack. Beware! So, yeah, probably there is an ambush waiting up ahead. Yep. Wind kicks up, blasting you down from the mountainside, practically throwing you out of the saddle. Seeing this is no ordinary breeze, you order your troops to prepare for combat, and just as you suspected, lots of air elementals swoop down out of the sky to attack. So, we'll see what's here. Okay, 25 air elementals this time. I think we'll finish this real quick, and then we will end the recording at that point. But it looks like we've just about finished exploring our starting valley in the southeast corner of the map. Yeah, I will admit, I've been away from Let's Playing for a bit. It's been very hectic. I'll get into more of that in the next episode. So, let's see. I think we'll go for basic air magic. Okay, so next episode we'll be breaking out of this snowy area into this dirt area beyond. And probably finishing up the first week's worth of gameplay at least. So we will see you then.